father told me when I was young, don't play with fire, be careful, son. But we were flames and fell in love. We burned the cities down, down. Fire learned you lesson. You won't be lonely if you fall in love. Over and over again and again. My mother told me when I was young, we still inspire, sorry son. You won't be lonely if you fall in love. Over and over again and again. I'm living my life according to the law of attraction. It's like camera action. I never wanna die. I'm living that life with no direction. I thought you learned your lesson.
So truth be told, my fingers are getting a little bit tired from typing out all of these little facts, but I just wanted to let you guys know that a lot has changed inside of Clash Royale since the very first time it was ever released. And just as another little fact, Clash Royale was actually soft launched inside of Canada only on January 4th, 2016. So that was when the first beta was released and people could play Clash Royale, and YouTubers were playing it for the first time. Now obviously YouTubers like Galadon, Chief Pat, Clash on Gone, and big guys like that, Clash with Ash, they were all given the very first access to the game inside of Clash Royale, where they actually played in a bit of an open bracket tournament style where they all played against each other inside of a game that they had never played before. It was a ton of fun to watch, and it was just really, really entertaining. But as I already touched on, the Goblin Barrel used to cost 4 elixir and actually do damage upon landing. So even if none of the goblins stabbed the tower or anything like that, it would still do a tiny, tiny bit of damage. Now back then it also used to cost gold to start battles as well as friendly challenges. Now it's easy to say that it was not very popular with a lot of the players because paying to battle each time got very onerous on you, and sometimes you would have no gold and you just simply couldn't play. So that really sucked, but thankfully they did remove it after the very first update. Now the mortar used to have a crazy good range and it used to last forever, but it also used to cost 6 elixir, but then it got nerfed down to 4 elixir and got nerfed in absolutely every single way with its range, its lifespan, the damage it does, and everything like that. Now it's a much more balanced card. Now back then, Royal Arena was also the highest. There was no longer any other arenas that we have nowadays, like the Legendary Arena, Spooky Town, Electro Valley, Frozen Peaks. I could go on and on, but I just can't really remember them off the top of my head. I'm sure you guys know which ones I'm talking about, but there were none of those back then. Now back in 2016, Spell Cycle was super popular inside of Clash Royale, so popular in fact that it led to a massive nerf to all spells where they had to reduce the amount of damages that they can do to Crown Towers. Because back then, Rocket Cycle, believe it or not, was one of the most viable strategies where you would just basically defend and then fire rockets rockets at your opponent's king tower. It wasn't a ton of fun, and matches were a little bit boring due to that, but thankfully they did end up nerfing it. Honestly, may have nerfed it a little too much. But anyways, back then the rage spell used to cost 3 elixir. The zap spell actually didn't have a stun effect and rather just did a little bit of damage to a very small area. No stun effect whatsoever. Now, this one is one of my favorite ones. The cannon used to be 6 elixir, and it was actually nerfed down to 3 elixir, as you guys all now know where the cannon cost 3 elixir. But back then, the cannon used to be a monster of a card. No one really used it, but it costed 6 elixir, used to last forever, do a ton of damage, and had a ton of health points. Back then, also, the fireball had changed. Obviously, you can tell just by simply looking at them. The elixir collector actually used to cost 5 elixir back then, and so it was a much better return on investment, and a lot of people were actually using the elixir collector. Back then, the musketeer was also 5 elixir, as you guys saw earlier, and also the mirror's image was changed, where you can actually see by the card one of them is a lot darker than the other. Now, the P.E.K.K.A back then was also 8 elixir rather than 7, and also on the golem there was actually a big aesthetic change where it used to have a collar on it rather than the big spikes on its back. Let me know down in the comments below which version of the golem you guys like more. I low-key kind of like the original golem. It kind of looks like a dog on the loose or something like that, but I don't know, that's just me. Anyways, the skeleton army used to have 21 skeletons and cost 4 elixir, whereas now it's 3 elixir and only has 15. We're slowly losing a skeleton every year. Larry keeps wandering off somewhere, I guess. The xbow also used to target ground and get this air units as well. It also used to have a range of 13 tiles, so just as far as the mortar used to have, and so you could actually attack the opponent's tower from super far away, and almost like halfway between the bridge and where your tower actually was. It was a crazy powerful card, and it was a ton of fun to use, but unfortunately they did end up nerfing that quite a bit. Now also, similar to the zap spell, the lightning never used to have any stun effect either, whereas now it actually does. So the lightning wasn't really that popular of a card back then, to be honest. And lastly, there were no challenges, there was no seasons pass, there was no live spectators, and there are a ton of other features inside of Clash Royale that they didn't have back then that they do now. One of them being Clan Wars. In fact, we're actually on to Clan Wars 2.0 ever since 2016, where back when we had absolutely no Clan Wars. Now obviously Clan Wars 2.0 has a lot of room for improvement, and the developers are working, I would hope, like around the clock to kind of fix it and bring Clan Wars back to the sort of hype that they used to be. But back then, there were no Clan Wars, so to be honest, we're in a better spot now than we ever were back then. But anyways, that is pretty much every single change that I can think of off the top of my head here, between the difference between Clash Royale inside of 2016 and Clash Royale for 2021. Let me know down below which sort of changes that Clash Royale should really bring back into the game that you guys really missed. I personally really like the Goblin Barrel doing damage onto the tower. I thought that was a fun little thing, and it's so small and like insignificant, like why not? Just change up the meta a little bit by adding those small changes. But anyways, there are also a ton of other changes inside of Clash Royale back in 2016 that have changed a significant amount now in 2021. It'll require a ton more research, but if you guys are fans of this series that I have been doing, I've been doing it for Clash of Clans, I've been doing it for Clash Royale in the past, so if this video does get over 1,000 likes, I will definitely go back, do a ton of research, and find even more of the cool changes that used to be inside of Clash Royale inside of 2016 or when it was first released, or even back in 2015 or 2014, pre-launch, before Clash Royale was even shown to the public, and I want to show you guys what that looked like as well. It'll take a lot of research, so I only want to do it if you guys are actually interested in it, so if you are, let me know in the comments below and drop a like on the video. Anyways, definitely make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be posting tons more content just like this one that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. It never hurts to subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later if you don't like it. Obviously, I'd love it if you guys stay subscribed, but you know, you can't win them all. But anyways, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. I'm actually recording this on New Year's Eve, so if the time has already passed, Happy New Year's. Hope you guys have a great 2021, and I will catch you guys all inside of the next video. Peace out.